All right, man. This album was definitely incredible, and the themes behind it is just so complex. You know what I mean? But we all know by now, if you follow him on Twitter, you know what I mean. You understand the themes from the slaves to the slave trade to him, black people as humans, and the concept and themes throughout the album. You know what I mean? I don't really have to get into that. Did I understand most of the album or all of it? Of course, there are some things I still haven't quite figured out. Just being 100% honest, but I think Dead End Hip Hop definitely did a great job at, especially Mike. You know what I mean? Of breaking down this album and everything like that. But I'm just going to express how I felt about the album itself when I first heard it, when I kept listening to it, and what I thought of it. So it opens up with it's the whole theme of resurrection in a sense, and I definitely thought that was pretty dope. Fucking car, shut the fuck up. I definitely thought that was pretty dope. The interludes intertwined with the theme throughout the project, which was dope. But it opens up, in the event of a typhoon. Then he goes into Drogas, where he was rapping in another language. That threw me off. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, what the fuck? Keep it in the buck. I skipped it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't speak Spanish or, understand it. You know what I mean? So that's partly my fault. I didn't really pay attention when I had Spanish in school. Whatever. But then it goes into Manila, and we understand what Manila is. If you look at the album cover, it's basically a piece that was currency for, the slave trade and things like that. But the production was fire, and the lyricism was on point. But I'm not gonna lie, I first went into this album, I didn't really pay attention to that album. I seen that shit trending on Twitter, and I was just like, okay, did I miss something? And I actually listened to the record, and I was like, oh, he's rapping. Oh, okay. That became one of my favorite joints. Gold versus The Right Thing to Do. He's kind of using an accent yet again, and I was just like, what? You know what I mean? And it was cool. It goes to the slave ship interlude, then that goes into WAV or Wave Files, and that shit was dope. His rapping on there, the production on there was crazy. I was just like, damn, this nigga, if you listen to the lyricism and what he's saying, his fucking bars and double entendres is crazy. It goes into Down, which is another joint that I fuck with because Nicki Jean, I'm a fan of hers from, The Cool, and I think she did incredible work on that album. So I was happy that she was on so many records. Haile Selassie, I've been a fan of this shit since the little EP he had, Lost in the Atlantic, and I didn't understand why he didn't drop that, but he explained it. I seen a video of his where he was in the turmoils of the Atlantic situation, so he was just putting out a song, I think every week, he said, and I think this is before Tesla and Youth, I do believe, but basically he didn't ever finish that EP with just 3 songs, and I definitely wish that he would have finished dropping those songs to drop a mixtape. But anyway, that was still one of my favorite songs, and if you know who Haile Selassie is, and you understand the song, and I thought that was pretty dope. Then it gets into Allen Forever. Now this is one of the songs where I had to literally listen to it, and I'm like, holy shit. So basically, Allen is a 3-year-old, he was a 3-year-old Syrian refugee that ended up, he was dead, his body washed up on the shoreline, and Lupe flipped it to where he never died, and he grew up to be a famous swimmer and ended up saving himself, in the end of the record. And that was pretty dope, and I was just like, holy shit. That song, honestly, it made me tear up because it's just like, holy shit, like, this is just incredible, for Lupe to go and do a storytelling like that. And it took me back to where he did the Cool album, where he did the song where no, it was a song, The Cool, where he talked about the guy dying but then coming back up out of the grave and going back and reliving his life. That was pretty dope. From Food and Liquor, I do believe. And going into Helter Skelter interlude, that was pretty dope. You know what I mean? Because you remember what Manson and the whole Helter Skelter situation. I was like, wow, Lupe is doing some dope shit. Stronger is a song that people really wasn't feeling. I thought it was dope. Nicki Jean definitely did her thing. I like the hook on that joint right there. Lyricism, of course, is Lupe. You know, it is what it is. Sun God, Sam, and the California Drug Deals featuring Nicki Jean again. This is where I think it switched up from the waves part of it, and this is more of the drogas part of the album because the theme sort of changed. And I was just like, okay, I definitely see the difference in that. But Lupe did say on Twitter that track 9 ends disc 2, and disc 2 picks up, you know, the next joint. And I feel like this album is not just one album. I feel like this is 3 albums in one. I just get that feeling. But anyway, EXO, it definitely brought me back to that throwback, the cool album feel. A lot of people don't like that song. That song stood out to me, and I put that shit on Twitter the minute I heard it. I was like, yo, this is definitely one of my favorite joints. Troy Irons, definitely great vocals. I actually listened to one of her songs. It's called Anti-Hero. Y'all definitely should check that out. It's pretty dope. And I was just like, damn, this shit is crazy. I ran that song back like 5 times before I kept going. That shit was just dope. Then it goes into another interlude, Don't Mess Up the Children. I definitely enjoyed that and thought that was pretty dope. The next song is John Love Forever, the little girl that died in Chicago. I did hear about that. That was pretty sad, where she basically, it's another story where, you know, she grew up and basically saved herself. You know, resurrection type record. And I was like, damn, Lupe is really killing this theme of, you know, resurrection, and his storytelling is insane. It goes into Kingdom featuring Damian Marley. I was skeptical on that song, but then I went back and I was just like, damn, that was a dope record. You know what I mean? I wasn't expecting it. I'm not really the biggest fan of Damian Marley. I remember when him and Nas did that album, and a lot of people was like, oh, it's pretty dope. I mean, it was cool. I definitely like one of the singles that they put out, but I wasn't really sold on the whole Damian Marley thing. But this song is dope. It goes into another interlude. It goes into Imagine, where Lupe is actually talking about his Atlantic situation. And I thought that was pretty dope, you know, to get some insight on that. And Stack That Cheese, another throwback to the cool. See, that's the part where it threw me off. If you go back to listen to Hip Hop Saved My Life, where he was basically talking about a rapper that made a song that he heard, and it's called Some, Stack That Cheese, Some, Stack That Cheese. Couldn't think of nothing, Stack That Cheese. Like, you know what I mean? And then to hear this, it's just like, I wish Lupe would do an interview to actually break that down, or some type of song breakdown, because I was just like, damn, I know this is going back to the cool, but that has to be linked to something in his body of work. I feel like some of this shit on this album definitely links to the cool, Food and Liquor, and Test One Youth. But moving on to Cripple, I enjoyed that. King Nas about his nephew's lessons of growth, you know, and manhood and things of that nature. Quotations from Chairman Fred featuring Nicki Jean. I thought that was a good record. Happy Timbuktu Day is about a DJ from Chicago that actually passed away. And Mule Jr., phenomenal. But Lupe also said on Twitter the album ends at track 22, and track 23 and 24 are just the credits. So whatever that means, I was just like, wow, what? Holy shit, that's just fucking insane. You know what I mean? But running back through it, of course, track 24, track 3, track 20, it shows why he's better at rapping and lyricism than all his peers. Track 12, to me, it sounds like he's mad at the state of hip-hop. You know what I mean? I could be wrong. Track 19 is definitely a throwback to the cool, like I said. And track 20, I definitely like the jazzy, the piano, and the flute. It just sounds so blissful, you know what I mean? But the standout tracks for me is EXO, King Nas, Mule Jr., Stack That Cheese, and Manila. But overall, man, this was definitely a good album. And I want to see what Lupe is going to do next, because he kind of put it out there that he wasn't going to do any more albums. This possibly was his last album, but he did that before. You know, will I say this is album of the year? For me, it's a contender. I feel like you got to put, at the end of the year, you got to put all the contenders into, you know, a list and really go back through all the projects to see whatever checklist you got of rating the album, to see what's album of the year. It don't matter about the awards and Grammys and shit like that, but what body of work really meant the most and actually, you know, did something for you as a human being. you know. But I definitely feel like I don't get how this is not nominated. This should definitely go into the Grammy category just based upon just the theme of it, you know, and the concept behind it. Like, this kind of is like going to a college course. And when I'm listening to it, I was like, damn, boy, you're going to really have to open your brains up and think about this shit. I thought Tesla and Youth was crazy, but this shit, oh my God. But I feel like if Lupe can not dumb down his lyrics, but kind of pick one theme, one concept, and use that as an album, similar to what J. Cole did with KOD, I think that'd be dope. But I know Lupe is a different lyrical artist than the rest of these people. And I just feel like a lot of fans and, well, not fans, but hip hop, the community really didn't gravitate toward this record because of, they feel like it's going to class and it's like, you know, you got to think. And in this generation of music, people don't like to think. There's like the vibe. So I definitely feel like it'll get overlooked. I heard that it didn't sell as much, but it did leak. He didn't really put physicals out. But Lupe, he ain't worried about the money. It ain't about the money. You know what I mean? It's about the art. And this is definitely a work of art. And I feel like 10 to 15 years from now, people will look back on this and be amazed at what this, you know, music is. This is the type of shit, not saying Kanye's that type of lyrical person, but the themes and concepts like this is the type of rapping that Kanye should be doing. But he rather wear MAGA hats and talk some weird shit on TMZ, and I just don't really understand why the fuck we didn't get the album, but that's for another video. I fuck with Drogas Wave, man. It's dope. Let me know what y'all thought about the album. Sorry I didn't technically break everything down, but I'm not one of those YouTubers. Y'all know that. I do what I do, and I do what I do well. One.